Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
All right, well, let's see what we have here. Right now I'm showing a 15-minute chart on the Swiss yen. And we have a down arrow. I'm on the single monitor here, so we're just gonna have to do what we can do. And we're gonna take a look at this trade. And so right now, if I scroll out, see if it's an uptrend. It is in an uptrend, but we have a down arrow. Right now, I'm not seeing that's going to be a trade, but we'll check this out a little bit further. Down arrow, or say up arrow. We need this one. It's an up arrow because we're in an uptrend. Or down arrow. We're going to scroll out a little bit and see how many pips we have to the. Now, this wasn't a arrow trade. This basically didn't bounce off of anything at the top. And even so, we probably only have, let's see how many pips we have to the downside. We have 16 pips, 17 pips, not too much to look at there. Really not much of a trade, so we're going to pass on that one. While we're waiting, let's see what we can do for, if there's anything else that we need to look at. Here's a NASDAQ, New Zealand, Swiss, 15-minute. Let's take a look at that one. That was right up, bounced right up into the red zone. And we have, looks like there's more red than green. I don't see any green at all. So this is in a downtrend with an up arrow. Again, no trade. We'll measure it out. There's really nothing to measure. It's already there. And you can see there wasn't a lot of activity during the overnight session from the Sunday open till the money zone, which was right about here. This one only changed 22 pips overnight overall for several hours, so that's not a big move either. So there's really no trade there either.
I received a Euro Great Britain 5 minutes ago.
Euro Great Britain?
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Okay, a 15-minute chart?
Yes.
That's right down into the green as well. Nothing, looks like no trade on that one either. And let's see, what else do we have? Now, let's go and see if we can, I don't know if we can check if I can get over to the news. Now, I know this Friday is the non-farm payroll report. So there may be moderate activity up until Friday. I would be careful Friday at 8:30. Let me see if I can. Do you have any way of sharing your news report there, Eva or Christine?
Yeah, I can get up my effects book.
Okay, let me know when you're ready. I'll stop sharing and I'll let you share because.
Okay, just give me a moment here. Okay, I'm ready to share.
Looks like we are actually recording here, so it looks like we are recording. So I'm going to stop sharing, and you've got the charts.
Okay.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you.
No problem. So I've got mine filtered just by high, so I don't show everything.
Well, that's good. That's just all we're looking at. That's all you usually look at anyway. And let's see. So today is, what's the date today? Today's May 3rd.
Today's the 3rd, yeah.
Today's the
So,
3rd. Okay, so go ahead, take it away.
yeah, so it looks like we've got two US high impact news happening today. One of them is going to be in a couple of hours. Another one's going to be sometime this afternoon. So just keep an eye out for that. 10 a.m. Eastern and 2:20 Eastern. And then there's going to be an Aussie, but that's not going to be until sometime tonight Eastern Standard. So
Okay.
that's for the purposes of our trading this morning. We seem to be okay up until the 10 o'clock US news. So keep an eye out for that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm going to stop.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Let's see. Let me see if I can get the rest of this up here. And we'll take a look and see if there's anything else.
Yeah, if anybody else knows of any other high impact on the Forex factory or wherever, just let us know.
Let's see, we already looked at that one.
It appears this is going to be a collaborative effort today.
Yeah, it's gonna be. This is not ideal. This is not the way I'd like doing it, but it's
Hey, you know what?
sometimes it's one of the necessary evils. If you want to do it, we gotta do it under different conditions, I guess.
It's on our toes.
Let's see. Here's the Nasdaq. Now, I'm not real big on trading the Nasdaq during this time of the day. I usually don't like looking at the indexes or trading the indexes till about 9 o'clock, about the time we're done. That's when they usually kind of start moving before the U.S. session opens up. We do have a bounce. We have an arrow. Now the question is, do we have a go on this one? So with the Nasdaq, I mean, as I'm not going to take any trades probably today, just because of I don't like trading under adverse conditions. So let's measure this out here. We have a bounce. We have an arrow, which should be a bounce arrow go. But now we have, looks like we have, see, the entry would have been at 13,903. I like to see at least 10 pips to a target going for 5. And we're at 13,918. So there's about $15 worth of move available on that. Let's scroll out and see what we have for our direction. And it looks like we have 3 zones on the top, 3 zones on the bottom. Looks like it's pretty much in a sideways motion here. So it's kind of going sideways with a small zone on the top. I would not be real keen on this, even under the best of conditions. And so let's take a look and see where our moving averages are. My template, build my moving averages, and put my other template on. And this will bring up, we have our higher time frame 200 moving averages still pointing down. We are getting the crossover of the other moving averages that are actually moving in the right direction. But rather than, I would be looking at the target. It actually looks like it already made an attempt to hit the 200 moving average and was rejected. That's a sign that's going to have a hard time getting through that, which would be a hard time getting up to your target zone. So with the arrow being right here and the moving average being right there, that's again, you're only looking at about a $9 move, and it's already made. Most of that has been rejected. I just stay away from that trade. It may give us, if they can break through this zone and have a higher level, we might have a little bit more luck with the trade on this one. But I'd be looking at more for this area right here. That would be a $40 move, which would be a nice little move, but it has to get through this little zone right here. So again, there's no trade there. At least not for me. Anything anybody wants to take a look at, so we can do a quick analysis on. Let's see if we have any hourly charts down here. There's a 4-hour. That's more of a swing trade.
Well, Judson had mentioned the Bitcoin is up, that there was one resistance going through the M1 and M5 and known on the M15.
See, yeah, Bitcoin is oftentimes the cryptos, they pull back a lot over the weekend, but then they take off again near Sundays and Mondays. So I think they're still kind of working the way back up. Still down from its high. We have a bounce, an arrow. That was right here at, what time was that? It was right about 7 o'clock this morning. It was over to the money zone. And we have, let's see what the range of this one was. There's an arrow. There's a little doji on that arrow, which is interesting. Here's the target. And that would have been about $237 move. I'm not sure what the price point is on these as far as like lot size to be taken. If you don't know for sure, just take the smallest lot size you can, do it in demo, and work out the numbers on it. But that's already at the zone, and we go. That was on a 5-minute chart. Let's see if this next zone may be.
If I'm not mistaken, that might be the only red zone.
Yeah, it looks like there's nothing else up.
Yeah.
We did hit. Let's see, where was the high on this thing? The all-time high was at 60. The all-time high was right here. It looks like it was at 64, call roughly 65,000. And I can see it working its way back up. We had a nice strong pullback. And if we look at, so I'm on a daily chart right now, so keep that in mind. I'm just looking to see where the major pullback was.
Actually, on the 5 minute, it's pulling back right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Let's go to 5-minute chart here. Let's check our moving averages, see where they are. The moving averages are all in the correct direction. Here's the 200 moving average way down here. Hasn't come anywhere close to challenging it. Right now, it looks like it's pulling back to the exponential 62 right here. That was a strong pullback. It bounced off of that several times. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 times. It bounced off the 62, crossed back over, got the arrow, and taken off. So this is something maybe consider with the 5-minute chart, that when you see it pull back to the 62 moving average, it may be a good time to try to, if you still believe in the concept of the cryptocurrencies, for Bitcoin, that would not be a bad place to be entering. And so with that, we're looking at probably right around the 58, 5,500 mark. It's going to take a little bit to get through there. It could very well get through here this week, depending on what kind of news we get. But I don't think the cryptos are going to go away anytime soon. So I'd be more of a buyer than a seller. I would not be trying to sell them up in there, because you could get yourself into a pickle.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard upward trend.
Yeah.
We just had a US CAD as well, Al, on the 15-minute.
US CAD?
Yeah.
Okay. US CAD. I don't even have that on here, do I? My other charts I had, I couldn't. It's on the bottom here, and I can't pull those up, so I'm going to have to come over here and pull the chart up. US CAD.
There it is at the top.
Top?
Oh, now you just moved it.
There it is. Okay, right here.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. So if you don't have it in your little dashboard, just pull it up. Just go ahead and find it and pull it up to a chart window. And pull your template on, and you're up and running again. Now take a look at this. We have all of our moving averages. This is in a somewhat of a downtrend reference to the 200 moving average. Come over here to the scroll I'll zoom out and you see we have more red than green, so it isn't a downtrend. The 200 moving average is a pretty good indicator that you want to be trading, that the main trend is going to be in that direction. So that's kind of a quick peek at where it's going to be. But we have a zone right here. We had the bounce, we have a nice little arrow, but it's right up into the zone. And there's really no trade on that. Let me go to a 15-minute chart and see where that may pretty much the same situation. This is a down arrow. So down arrow, downtrend. There's a bounce arrow. This one actually could be a good trade here, actually. This has a possibility. We have, here's our arrow. It isn't a downtrend. It bounced off the red zone. And we have, we got 18 pips to the downside. So that's a possibility of a trade. Everything seems to be in the right direction. We have the crossovers. We have the cross of the 200. And right now we have everything pretty much in the right direction. The arrow moving average is down. The 62 is moving down. I would say this is a tradable trade. I'd like to check my other indicator, which I don't have right now. Let me see if I can do that. I'll have my RCS tool. I bet this is probably going to US CAD. So it's showing the strength to the CAD. The Canadian dollar is showing strength. Let me see if I can find that chart. Oops, we lost everything there, didn't we? So I'm gonna get my trading view up here. And let me see if you see my correlation screen here. Do you see that anywhere coming up?
No, we see your splash screen with the disclaimer.
Still see the splash screen? Okay, let
Yeah.
me see if I can, this thing comes up, see if I can switch it around here. It's still booting up. Okay, so. And now you should see my RCS tool.
No, you
No.
have to start sharing this screen first and then go back.
I mean, I need to stop
There we
sharing
go.
it and,
Yeah.
and share again. Let's try this. How about now?
It's coming. It's populating itself. It's taking a minute. You must be, your internet must be a little bit, oh, there we go. Got it.
You should. Internet connection is unstable. Okay, there we go. And
Yeah.
it is showing that the Canadian dollar is the stronger. That was the U.S. CAD, I believe we're looking at. So it's the U.S. CAD. The dollar is still kind of in the middle of the pack, so it's not overly strong. It has an overly strong split to it. It is on the higher time frame. We have our 3-point spread between the Canadian dollar and U.S. dollar on our 30-minute, and we have, I would say right now, it would be an iffy trade because the Canadian dollar is showing strength, but not an abundance of strength. And that's not the one I want here. I'm gonna stop sharing. Switch my screen. And what happened here? Let's see, we need to get back to the charts, wherever they may be, where'd they go? Bear with me a second, I lost my charts. Right now, you're probably not seeing anything, are you?
It
It would,
looks like something
so
wants
wait,
to come.
you,
Oh, you're on your,
I'm gonna stop sharing. Yeah, can you take over the charts until I find see what happened to it? I think I had an internet interruption here.
okay,
Share it.
US
Should
CAD.
be able to Yeah, it was US CAD. Yeah, take a look at that, see where that's going.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I'll see if I can get my charts back up again.
Give me a moment, guys. All right.
I see your screen now.
Can you see mine?
That's a good thing. Yeah. I see your
Yeah.
trading.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So I haven't marked anything up on this at all. So, actually, were you on? This is Trading View. I should really be on
Yeah, the arrow if you can.
the arrow. Yeah. Give me a moment then.
See, while you're doing that, I'll see if I can get my arrow charts back up again.
This is what you call doing everything on the fly, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
Just bear with us.
Thank goodness you're not adding me in the punch.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to stop sharing and start resharing. So just give me 1 second.
there we go. I'm seeing it there. That's a good
You
thing.
can see my screen, my
Yep.
chart.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just move this down a little bit so I can actually get at my controls. They in these Zoom rooms, they put the controls right on top of everything that, like if you're sharing, it's on top of all your stuff. So it makes it really difficult to get in there and do what you got to do. Okay, so this is major down. Yeah, this you already checked all this out. So
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's a tradable trade. The only problem is I don't like the fact that the strength between the Canadian dollar and the US dollar wasn't strong enough to where I wanted to play with this one. But it did have, I think it had about 17 and a half, 18 pips
yeah,
from the arrow to the green zone, which we're looking for 20, so it's not quite there. It'd be one that you could probably go for 5 pips. But you'd probably still this would be one you still want to be having a relatively strong stop because it's it's in the middle. It's the middle of a zone, and you don't know really which way that zone's going to break, and it's probably going to start making lower highs and higher lows, and it's just as it keeps going as it keeps creating more bars on the chart, it's going to keep drawing that area of the tradable zone even smaller and smaller. So it would be a marginal trade at best. So again, I'm going to stay away from it.
Now, would you also be influenced by seeing that it's a bank holiday in the UK and seeing that you have the Canadian dollar? That would affect you, Eva, right? In Canada?
no, the Canadian dollar is not dependent on the.
Oh, okay. I wasn't positive on that.
We're like a real country up here, Christine. We have our own currency and everything.
I'm sorry, I just didn't know if you had the same holidays. Like I know you had a different currency, sweetie.
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it's probably it's trading in the proper time zone, I guess you could say. I mean, the U.S. market still hasn't opened up yet, and it is still another. So it's another. It's only 8 o'clock right now, so it's.
I think
another hour and a half before it's going to.
I would be kind of more inclined to wait for this to bottom itself out because I think it's going to. I'm not sure where it's going to come to.
You could maybe draw some trend lines on this one.
Sorry.
If you could draw a trend line from the the last green zone to the current price right now, draw a trend line.
From the last switch, sorry.
From where the last candle that left the green zone, heading towards the red, and just draw the upward sloping trend line to pretty much where the arrow is right now.
Oh, you're
I like
under
to see
here,
it.
you're talking. And the bottom?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
from the
from your
bottom.
where you started your fib before.
Or I'm not seeing your. Actually, I'm not seeing your cursor, so maybe I'm looking. Am I looking at my
You
charts?
see the trend line?
You know what?
I
I wonder if. Hang on a second. I'm thinking maybe I'm looking at the. Let me see what I'm looking at here.
I'll look at your upper left corner. Do you have the 3 dots? Because Ava's chart.
Oh, you know what? Okay, I have my charts back up again. It looks like I'm just. Okay. Oh, hang on a second. Okay, I've got my VPS is up. Now I gotta see what I can do here. Oh, there's
You
okay.
can't
Oh,
see the
there's
trend line that I drew?
I see it now. Yes, I see your charts now. I was looking at my charts, thinking they were your charts. So
Oh, okay.
okay, so that's good. So yeah, but basically that's your upper trend, and then if you're looking at the higher trend line would be all the way back from the. Oh gosh, it's off my charts here. Hang on, let me see if I can. It'd be easier if I can show it rather than try to have you describe it here.
Have you got your chart up? Because I can stop sharing.
Well, yeah, go ahead and stop sharing. I'll see if I can share my chart here. And are you seeing anything right now?
No.
Share charts. Here we go. Now I see it. Now you should see my chart.
Yeah, it's coming up. There we go.
Okay, so what I was looking at doing is trying to have the trend line from this point over to here. Now I still like to see a stronger bounce. Right now there's no bounce, so this trend line could be almost anywhere. We did have a little bit of a break of a trend way at the top up here. There's an anchor, here's a hit. And so actually this thing did break this little trend line right here. Strong move down, came back, tested. So it could very well come down. This is not a bad trade if you want to take it. Again, I'm not taking anything today. But we have a strong move down. Now, I would expect to see maybe another little bounce coming back up to retest. But right now, this trend line here is a valid trend line. And we're looking to see where, from a Fibonacci, let's take a look at the Fibonacci's on this. This one may be worthwhile looking at. We have an uptrend from here to here. We had the close below the arrow moving average. And right now it's heading towards the 61. We had a bounce right at the 61%. So if we were to take another trend line from this point over to this where the 61%, let's see if this is an uptrend or a downtrend. I think we were saying this was in a downtrend.
Downtrend.
It is in a downtrend, so I put an arrow on the down. Let's see, move it back out again. I would like to see a little bit more of a reversal. It's in a downtrend, but I'm not so sure that it's not going to come back up and retest. It's pulled back. Right now we had a strong move down, came back up, retested this little area right up in here. So that made a lower high. Here's a low, here's a low, here's a higher low, here's a higher low. So right now you see it's starting to develop a little bit of a wedge. And as it's bouncing off the 61%, it could very well be playing somewhere in between this area and this area. It's got a little bit of an upper channel. So you're range right now, I say your actual playground that you have, where you could actually be potentially getting a trade would be in this area. And that's only 11 pips. Again, there wouldn't be enough room to really, if it can break through this bottom trend line, although I'd like to see it, I'd like to see a stronger bounce off of this trend line inside here. And then I'd be looking at maybe it didn't break off of this down into this zone. But right now it's still in a consolidation time. Strong move. This was a strong move. This was a strong move down. Found the bottom, came back up, retested the top. Now it's going to be the question: is it going to retest this bottom, or is this trend line from this low over here is it going to find its bottom over in this area? We don't really know, but it's more of a gamble than I think we're thinking. All of our moving averages, you can see the moving averages are all consolidating right here. Here's our 200. They're all the moving averages from the fastest one, which is the 5, to the 200. They're all nestled right inside this zone right here. So there's really no real conviction or commitment of which way it's going to break. So it's just basing, and it could do this for pretty much the rest of the day. So yeah, I'm not going to stay away. That's not a good trade.
We had another alert though, Al, if you wanted to have a look at. I haven't checked it out, so I don't know how good it is. The New Zealand yen.
Zealand yen. Here we go. Let's take a look at it. And there's it's not an arrow trade right now. We have an up arrow. Check our moving averages. And again, we're starting to see some consolidation. We still have the 200 moving averages up here. All of the others are crossed over, but it's sort of nestled inside. This is a little bit of the same type of situation we just looked at. Here's our wedge from up here. There's the top wedge, or top trend line. And the connection is unstable. It's probably trying to find another spot to pull off of. Here's our trend. And again, the range right now between this trend line and this trend line, you could be looking at a Fibonacci retracement, but let's just see what the overall trend on this one is. Let's zoom out. And we have more green than red, so it is in an uptrend on the 15 minutes. We're going to mark a arrow up. Work it over here. Let's see here. We have an up arrow. Let's zoom out a little bit more. We couldn't even hardly do a Fibonacci with all this consolidation right here. It'd be hard. You'd find out you'd be pretty much right in the middle of any major zone that we'd be looking at. So, and looking at the overall range from basically the top trend line to the bottom trend line, you're looking at roughly 16 pips. You'd have to be able to catch it right on the top here, or to be able to get your 5 or 7 pips even out of that zone. And so there's really, again, there's no real clear direction to it. It isn't a arrow trade. Even like if this one were an arrow trade, you have an uptrend. Add the bounce off here, add the down arrow, and you can see where if you were to try and take this one, this arrow right here is short, you found that you'd be taking some heat on it right now. And that's a little bit what you're going to be looking at like on Monday mornings when the market's trying to find its direction and try and find its entry points. That's 24 pips to downside. See, that would have been a valid, other than the fact, well, it wouldn't have been valid because it's in an uptrend. But now this one would be valid for the uptrend, but you're going to see that it's probably not going to have the 24 pip, but 20 pip range. You only have 7 pips to this area. So basically, you'd have to have it get through this zone and head up for that zone. Or if this zone wasn't here, you had a green bar, a green zone right here, that'd be a nice little trend because you'd be going to the trend. Right now, you're getting the consolidation. All your moving averages are trying to decide which way they're going to go. If it can break through this zone right here at the 78.6 level, then you might have a nice little trade to the upside with the trend, and you might have a little bit of a bounce off of that. But you'd have to be clear of this zone and head up here. That would give you 30 pips. So right now, I favor this more to the upside, and but I would not take it right now with that zone right there. By the time it gets through this red zone, all these moving averages will probably be in the right direction, clear of the zone, and that'd be a nice little trade. But until then, I say we have to wait and just be patient, see what's going to happen. So we can put this one in the bottom there to keep an eye on it. And you see, that was the New Zealand yen. A couple 1 hour trades, the Aussie, New Zealand. So 1 hour up into the zone, no trade there. Here's a Euro Swiss. There's a bounce arrow go. Let's just see if this one has any potential. It's on a 1 hour chart. So the zone, we have 18 pips to the red zone. With the 1 hour, you usually like to have a 50 pip target and a 100 pip stop. You don't have a 50 pip target on this one. And so if we just move it down to a 15-minute. So let's go ahead and mark the 1 hour zone. Mark where the 1 hour arrow is. Let's see how it fits on a lower time frame. Again, you have another small zone right here in the middle. That's only 5 pips to that. Again, no trade there. And if it broke that, you're still going to be pretty tight on these lower time frames. You have to break through this zone, and even that would only give you 20 pips. By the time you broke through that, you'd probably be down to about 12 pips or so. Again, no trade. There's an Aussie CAD on the 5 minute. Let's see how our 15-minute Aussie CAD's looking. Is everybody still there? Still there, Eva?
We're good.
Yeah,
Okay, I wasn't sure.
here.
Wasn't sure if I was going to lose. So I was wondering if my headset just went dead or something.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's only 3 pips to the upside. So there again, nothing.
I'm just looking through the charts to see if there's anything viable.
So I think we may cut the session a little bit short today just because it's kind of awkward here.
Whatever you want.
Anybody have any questions? A little scan here and see what we got. And so we wait. To get something, maybe something will pop up another 2 minutes possibly. It's quarter after the hour. These charts will pop up on the time frame, which is the chart we're looking at. So you may see a lot of them every minute, but I'm usually focused on the 15-minute charts. See if there's anything that pops up on that. So quarter after the hour and 30 minutes past the hour is where we'll usually see some of that. Sorry, New Zealand yen is doing if it did anything. A little bit of a breakout of the zone. You can see even like with this trend line, you can see where it came up, broke through the trend line, and we'll see how this 15-minute candle closes. But there's probably a good chance it's going to close right back into the wedge. This is a little bit of a head fake. It's like on a 5-minute chart. I'd be concerned. We have all these little wicks right up in here before the drop, and so I would expect it to come back up. And once it clears this candle, has to clear this wick, but once it clears this area, she may have already cleared it. Let's see here. Yeah, I would say that right now it's going to run into some problems right up in this zone. We have all these wicks. This would be where I would expect a bounce. And so if you were to try and get into this trade, even off of this arrow right here, you're only looking at 6 pips to the upside. And it's not enough to clear your stops or your spreads and still make a profit for the risk factor. We'll see what comes up, what it does when it gets to that blue zone. We'll keep an eye on that one.
I was muted. I was talking to you.
Oh, you were? Oh.
Yeah, we just had a British Swiss and a Euro Aussie as well.
Okay.
On the 15-minute.
Thank you. Down here. There it goes. British Aussie, you say was one? Oh, this happened to be right here.
British Aussie. No, Euro Aussie is a sell. British Swiss is a buy.
Euro Aussie. Okay, here we go. Euro Aussie. Oh, I can see that's right down, arrow right into the green zone. No trade on that one. And the other one was the British Aussie, you say?
The British, no, hang on a
I
minute.
don't even
I have to
that
keep
on my
going
chart.
back to my chart. It's the British Swiss and the Euro Aussie.
British Swiss.
Yeah. British
I have
Swiss
that
to
one.
buy.
You had that. What time frame? 15 minute?
15-minute. Yeah, they're both 15-minute.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's a bounce arrow go with that one, but was it a go because of the? We have the trend with us on this one. This was all the way down here. It's like it's in a downtrend. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to pull up on my moving averages and see what the trend is on that. So let's do that. Let's get my template up, load it. 62 moving average. And so we have, it did cross over the 2, we have the 5, the 13, the arrow moving average, and the 62. They're all in the right direction. They crossed over the 200. We have it right in front of it. I'm okay with the direction on this one. I'm not sure I'm okay with the range. Yeah, 23 pips, that's not too bad. That's a tradable, I would call that a tradable trade on this one. I'd probably only go for 5 pips on it. Let's see.
Okay, you're starting to go funny now.
Remember the British set. Hang on, let me switch earbuds. See if, hang on.
Okay.
That help? Oh, let's see. Yes.
Yes, you sound better.
That help? Is that any better?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. My earbud was getting dead. Okay. Thank you for the heads up on that one.
No
I
problem.
think this is actually a tradable trade. I do think this is a tradable trade. We did cross the 200 moving average. All the other moving averages are pointing up. We do have a little doji right here. I'd probably like to look at this with a little bit closer under a trading view, but I'm not going to switch my charts for that today. Let's see here. Strong move down. Here is a retest. We have a bunch of wicks right here. Reference to this little area, this little green zone right here. It did seem to be, it is hammered way through that. Here is the arrow. Here's the highest close. So we did get a little bit of a close higher than this. I say this is a tradable trade. It's not a pure arrow trade, but it's a second arrow. Here is the bounce. Here's the arrow. Here's the second arrow. I'd go to a lower time frame and see if there's anything in the way on that. And so here's our zone, which is where the orange line is. $27 pips. I'd probably maybe go for seven pips on this one. I would use your stop I would keep a relatively tight stop on it. I wouldn't give it more than I usually give it 15 pips. I'd like to keep it below this little pivot down here, or even better yet, keep it above the. I'd probably go use like a 20 pip stop. I keep this arrow moving average as a stop zone. So I say if you're looking at going for, I'd use a 20 pip stop and maybe a 7 pip target on this. I can see what my other indicators are. I don't like taking trades unless I can check my RCS tool especially if it's not a pure arrow trade. I like to check and see what the strength of the different currencies are with each other. In fact, London's having a banking holiday today. It may not be real conducive to, you're not going to have a lot of the strength. I'm not sure if the Swiss would follow that holiday or not. But again, trader beware on this one. It fits a lot of the criteria. You may not get quite the volatility, the fact that the London session is not in session today. Let's see what else we have. Keep that one in the queue to see what else. New Zealand CAD only 5. Let's see if that has anything. Check the moving averages. They're all in the right directions.
Wow.
Green's leading. It's pretty much the same picture we just had with the other chart. This is a strong move out of this area. Here's an arrow, 5-minute arrow. It looks like a big move, but that doesn't mean it is. Not seeing any zones above there. That's a pretty significant observation. What's going on with the, well, this is with the New Zealand strength to the Canadian dollar. That's interesting. Check our direction and showing that it's in a downtrend. There's some, see how much room we have to that moving average. That's 20 pips to the upside. I want to have a stop. I'd like to keep the stop probably, ideally I'd like to keep below the money zone, but at least below the arrow moving average, which is 15 pips. I'd say that's it's in the wrong direction. That's the only problem. That's the big thing about that. But it has room to the 200 moving average. All the other moving averages are in the right direction. And it does seem to be breaking some other zones from over the overnight session. Here's the money zone. And here's the overnight high, which is right where the, actually it's right where this orange line is. Here's the overnight low. And this is the first break. Once it got into the money zone, this is the first break right here. It came back down, retested it. So if you have taken this breakout off the money zone breakout from the overnight session, it would have given you a little bit of a, you've taken some heat on that one. Can anybody still hear me? Test.
Yes, Al.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, you have taken 20 pip heat on that. You have had, again, on a trade like this, you'd be looking at a 40 pip stop, which have been well below this zone here for your 40 pips. So that zone would give you some protection. The overnight low would give you some protection. It did challenge that a little bit. Right now it's breaking to the upside. So from a money zone, from one of the strategies with the money zone breakout, this would have been the breakout here within the zone. You could be looking at potential of 74 pips. Uh, you have 29 pips to the, at this point, you would have had 29 to 30 pips to the moving average. And I said I would still be looking at the bounce off of this 200 moving average. That's a significant level. But I would say this would be a tradable trade. It's going contra trend. We are in the contra trend time of the trading session. But it's not bad. It's not a bad trade. I'll keep an eye on that one.
There. Oh, what's that? You've got, it's a German Aussie. on the
German,
five,
or
right there.
German 30. Yeah, we like that one.
Oh, the German
Well,
30 on a.
yeah, that's an expensive one to trade. So make sure if you do trade that one, you keep
No.
in mind that. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. I was just gonna say, I
Okay.
don't know if you want to trade that one on a 52.
Yeah, no, I don't think we. Oh, one thing right now, there's a zone right there. Don't want to take that. This one is a real volatile pair. It's been making some strong moves in both directions all last week. So it's tradable, but you got to really be on top of it. It's not one that I would just put a trade on and just let it run unless it's monitored by an expert advisor. And I do trade this, and we do trade this on the expert advisor, which is actually doing pretty well with it. But it's just more of a scalping type of.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that it's good for scalping, but I wouldn't want to get into a swing trade. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Yeah.
Now, Al, wouldn't you be doing that on the 5 minute? Or were you
With the
chart?
well, I do it on I trade it with variable, and so variable's got its own little time frame that it figures out what's going to do.
No, I meant right
So
now. I meant
right now,
because right now your
Oh,
chart's on 15.
yeah, we're
yeah,
on the 15.
yeah, I would no, I would I how do I answer your question?
No, I
I
meant in
still like
general. In general.
I still like looking at the 15-minute as my focus chart, and then I'll scale down to the 5 minute on the indexes. But I still want to see what the 15-minute range is.
Okay, now you're really starting to kick in and out.
Direction on the 15-minute is.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times I'll trade these with Fibonacci. It's been at this right now. I think I'm really nothing showing, so I'm going to cut this session short today. And anybody have any objections to that?
No,
I'm
that's
not
fine.
sure.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever
I'm not
makes
sure
sense.
we're having much luck with anything. And I said I'm about to lose my internet, I think. So anyway, with that, we're going to cut this short today. I should be back at, I'll be on my laptop probably tomorrow as well, but I'll be not in the car, so I have a little bit better connection, a little bit better handle on some of this. So anyway, thanks for coming. We're going to wrap this thing up. Any last minute questions before we go?
I don't, not from the attendees. No, I haven't seen
Okay.
it.
I say don't be in a hurry to take trades. Today's a Monday, first Monday of the month. We've got non-farm payroll on Friday. There's going to be a lot of range-bound trading, I think, until for this week. So don't be in a hurry to take the trades, and just you trade your plan and make sure that it follows your plan before you take the trades. And with that, thanks everybody. Thanks Eva. Thanks Christine for helping me out here.
No
We'll see everybody
problem. Safe
tomorrow.
travels.
Safe
We'll
travels.
see everybody tomorrow.
See everyone tomorrow.
See
Have
you
a great
tomorrow.
day.
God bless everyone.